Okay, everyone, we're going to get started. Welcome back to Employability ESOL. Like I said before, we'll get started now. Just a quick reminder, these ESOL sessions are provided by the Accelerate project and the Watch Centre. Okay, so today we're looking at pronouns, and our learning objectives will be to identify the pronouns in a sentence, to understand what a possessive pronoun is, how to use possessive apostrophes, and how to spot common contractions. Okay, so if this terminology all seems a bit strange at the moment, don't worry, we'll go through each one in turn and work out exactly what pronouns are, how to identify them, and how to use them. Okay, so first we'll look at what a pronoun is. So a pronoun is used in place of a noun to describe a person or a group. So let's look at this sentence for a start. We've got the waitress asked the chef a question. So we've got the waitress here asking the chef a question. Now, if we were to look at the nouns in this sentence, we would look at the sentence. So we've got the waitress asked the chef a question. So remember that a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. So the waitress would be one of our nouns, and she asked the chef a question. The question is a thing. Our verb is asked. So, and the are our conjunctions, and a is a conjunction to make the sentence. So if we look back to what a pronoun is used in place of a noun to describe a person or a group. So we're going to change these nouns, waitress and chef, to a pronoun. Okay, so a pronoun, a waitress, as this is a female, we are going to change the word waitress to she. So she would be a pronoun. One second. Okay, and then she has asked him a question, and then him would become our other pronoun. So she is a waitress and him is a chef. Okay, so can you see how we've replaced these nouns with these pronouns? Okay. Oops. So when we look at, there are different types of pronouns. There are singular pronouns and plural pronouns. So when we look at singular pronouns, we've got I, we've got me, we've got he, we've got his, we've got she, and we've got her. These are some very common singular pronouns which will refer to the person themselves. They refer to the self. So I and me would be you. It's a neutral term. So if I was talking about myself, I would say I am attending an ESOL session, and the I is our pronoun, which you use to describe the person. Okay, and then he and she, these also describe the person. He would typically describe a man or a boy, and she would typically describe a woman or a girl. Okay, and his and her denote, they talk about belonging. So it would describe something that belonged to the man. So the laptop, it's his laptop, it belongs to him, or it's her coat, it belongs to her. And these are gendered terms. So he tends to be for boys and men, and she tends to be for women and girls in general. And I and me is neutral, and it could be referred to either. Okay, so these are just some common singular pronouns. Okay, and then here are the singular pronouns. I and me in a few example sentences. So remember, I and me are neutral terms. They don't tell you what gender maybe a person is. They are just describing the self, the person. So we've got, I would like to work in childcare. So you can see how the I, the singular pronoun, just refers to the person. And me, my sister volunteers with me. Me would also be a singular pronoun. Now my is a possessive pronoun, which we'll look at later, so don't worry about this one yet. Just concentrate on the I and the me and see how they are used in these two sentences. Okay, so the same goes for the singular pronouns. We've got he and his. Yeah, and we've got he is writing his CV. So he and his are singular pronouns describing the man. He is describing him as a person, so it lets us know that he's a man and he's a person, so that's the pronoun. And his tells us that the CV, the object, and the action, how they relate together, and that they are his, that they belong to him. So it would just be the same as to say he is writing his CV on his laptop. So his tells you it's about him and it belongs to him. And then here's just the example with the singular pronouns, which tend to be female gendered, where you've got her. Her job is very challenging. So her the job belongs to her. So the same way that the coat belongs to her, the job can belong to her, and this is a singular pronoun. And then she is a doctor who works in a hospital. So she is just describing the person. She's a doctor. So she is just this pronoun that you would use to describe her. It's got to be really careful not to mix up she and he and I in it. You've got to make sure it matches what nouns and your flow of your sentence. Okay, so in the way that we had singular plurals there, we've also got singular pronouns there, we've also got plural pronouns. So the plural tells us about a group of people or a group of things, more than one. So we and us, these can be used to describe a whole group of people. You might say we, like we are all at the moment, we are attending an ESOL session. Or you might show a picture and be like, this is a picture of us, and these are all tell you that there's more than one person or thing in this group. They and them, you might say they are very loud. Look at them over there. So they and them also describe a group. And you can be used to describe person singularly. So you might point at someone and go, you are early if they are early, they arrive early. But you can also use the word you to talk about a whole group of people. So this teacher might be saying, I am talking to you all. So you can also be used to talk about a whole group. And there and theirs can also be referred to a whole group. So you might go, that if you're talking about a group of people in the restaurant, you might say that is their table over there. So just the belonging of an entire group. But, okay, so now we've looked at what singular and plural pronouns are. We can look at this in terms of a sentence. So we're going to try and spot them in these sentences and work out if they are singular or plural. So we told them they had to dress smartly for the interview. So we is our pronoun, and we know that this pronoun is for a group. So remember we've got we here, and that this is for a group. So we know that this is a plural pronoun. We told them they, and so is they. So this is a group of people talking about another group of people. We told them they had to dress smartly for the interview. So you can see how these are plural pronouns. Now we've got we offered the job to her because she wrote an excellent application. Okay, so we know this is a group of people like we just looked at. We offered the job to her. Now her, like before, is a singular pronoun, so it's just about one person and it's a gendered term. So we offered the job to her because she, and she is our other pronoun. So we, her, and she. I know there's a few late arrivals that have all just joined the session. So don't worry, this session is being recorded and an edited version will be put on the YouTube channel so you can catch up at a later date. Okay, so don't worry about that. I just remember to turn your audio and recordings off as these sessions are recorded. Thanks. So now we're going to look at possessive pronouns. So remember, a pronoun is used in place of a person or a group. So instead of writing maybe a name like Susan, you would write she. And possessive pronouns are slightly different, as a possessive pronoun shows when something belongs to someone. So if you were to look at this girl reading her book, you would say if you were to write a sentence, you would write the girl has a book, but if you were going to write it as a possessive pronoun, you would say she is holding her book. So the her tells us that it is a possessive pronoun, that this object belongs to her. And the same for this lady holding her phone. It is her phone. So the her would be a possessive pronoun, as it's not only is it describing the person with a pronoun instead of a noun, it is also telling us that something in the sentence, another object, belongs to that person. So here's a few lists of singular possessive pronouns. We've got my and mine. So you might go, that is my CV. Oh, that CV is mine. So it would be how you would use to describe your own thing. So instead of writing I or me, you would write my or mine to show the possessive pronoun. Your and yours, where maybe if you were talking about someone else, you would say, is that your laptop? Is that yours? If you pointed at a laptop. So yours and your could be belonging for someone else. His and hers they describe, these are our gendered pronouns, possessive pronouns, that instead of writing he or her or him, you would say that is his CV, that is her CV. Okay, and then its is our neutral term. So this could be used more to describe an object. So you would say that is its laptop or something like that. So if you don't know if it's a male or female pronoun, or if it's someone else's, if it's just an object or a neutral term, you would just use its. Okay, so those are the singular possessive pronouns. Now we've got the plural ones. So we've got our or ours. So you might say, if you worked in a shop or a hospital, you might say, this is our hospital, this is ours, when referring to something. And now these show belongings for a group of people, not just one person. Your and yours can also be used to refer to as a plural, a group of people. So the waitress might arrive at a table in a restaurant and say, here are your meals. So this would describe something for a group of people, so not just one person. And their and theirs can also describe a group of people. So same with this group at the restaurant, they might say this is their table. Okay, so it's just a possessive pronoun that are plural. Okay, so here's a quick example question. Like always, we're going to look for our nouns first. So what our sentence is, she spell checked his application for him. So this lady is helping him write a job application. So our nouns, remember, so we've got she is our pronoun. She spell checked his application. So his is a pronoun too. Application is a noun for him. So, and this is a person. So application is our only typical noun in this sentence, and she is a singular pronoun describing the lady, and his is a possessive singular pronoun which is describing his application, and him is a singular pronoun which is describing the person. Okay, and then our verb would be spell checked. Okay, so the fact she is the action of spell checking the job application for him, checking it for errors, that would be our verb. And for is a conjunction. So she spell checked his application for him. So our possessive pronouns are his, and our singular pronouns are she and him. Okay, so I hope this seems a bit more straightforward now. You can recognise a pronoun and how it is different to a noun. But don't worry, you can rewatch the video back if at a later date to go over it again. Don't worry about it, and use the worksheets sent to you in the ESOL booklet as well. Okay, so now we're going to look at the possessive pronoun, which can be plural and singular, of their. And sometimes a common error people often do is they mix it up, especially the spelling, with the word their. So it's really important to write the correct one. You want to be writing there or there and know which one you want to mean. So their indicates belonging to a person or an object. So remember when we looked at the personal pronouns, their can describe something that belongs to someone else. So their meals, their waitress, okay? And so that's a possessive pronoun like we've just been looking at, whereas their indicates a place or position. So it is not a pronoun. With the ERE spelling, it indicates a place. So you might say, I put my laptop there on the desk. Oh, the watch centre is over there on the square. So this is not a pronoun, it's a place or position, but there, spelled EIR, it shows that something belongs to a person or an object. Okay, so here's the examples of how you use each word. So we've got, he is their teacher. So he is their teacher. So the children's teacher. So there shows that the teacher is the group of children's teacher. It shows belonging. Whereas there is the teacher standing in front of the whiteboard. The teacher is standing in front of the whiteboard, and by saying there with an ERE, you are showing that he has a place or position. You're showing what position he is standing in. And so can you see how there and there, even though they sound the same, the different spelling gives a different meaning to the word. So there with an I and an R is a possessive pronoun, and an E and an R and an E for there shows position. So you've just got to be really careful when writing these out that you don't mix up the spellings and that you're using the correct one. If you're ever unsure, use a dictionary. It will tell you the meaning of the word you're looking at. Okay, so now we're going to look at possessive apostrophes. These are still linked to pronouns, but can be used in place of them. So apostrophes are another way of showing when an object belongs to someone or something. You see this little line here? This is what we call an apostrophe. So you're using this to show when something belongs to someone or something. So the fact we've got Jane, so we've got a lady Jane, and we've got Jane's CV. So this CV belongs to Jane. Instead of writing an entire sentence that says Jane has a CV, or this is Jane's CV, you're instead just going to put in an apostrophe there and an S on the end, and this shows that this CV, this object, belongs to Jane. Okay, so you put in the apostrophe on the end of the noun. So Jane is our noun. You put the S on, you put the apostrophe in, and then you have the object that follows that noun. Okay, and the same goes for something else. You'll have company is the noun, and we want to show that the vacancies, the new jobs that the company is advertising, belong to this company. So you would go the company's vacancies, and you'd put the apostrophe in and the S to show that these vacancies belong to this company. They belong to this noun. Okay, so it's quite straightforward. You'll get more used to it with practice. You do have to be careful though, because if you wanted to write about lots of companies having vacancies, you would move this apostrophe and you would put it here, and you would take it out from there. So it would be the company's vacancies. So that would be if you were talking about more than one company. But if you've just got one company, then you would write it like this: the company's apostrophe S vacancies. Okay, so now these are the possessive apostrophes. So we've got an example sentence. I want to try and work out where we are going to put that apostrophe. So the library's volunteers helped to organise the books. Okay, so we're looking for our nouns. The library, so the library is a place. Volunteers is a place. Helped is the verb. To is a conjunction. Organise is another verb. The is a conjunction, and books are another noun. Okay, so we're going to focus on the libraries and volunteers. Now this is a place. The volunteers belong to the library in this sentence, so we're going to put our apostrophe here. So the libraries volunteers. Okay, so I'll put that apostrophe in a bit clearer. Yeah, so you've got the libraries volunteers. So you can see how that putting the our possessive apostrophe in there shows that the volunteers, this word, this noun, belongs to this noun. So the library's volunteers. So with apostrophes, they can also be used to contract a word. So what do we mean by contract a word? Contractions join together two words and can be identified with an apostrophe. So it's when you're putting two words together, you'll then lose some letters and you'll put an apostrophe in. So the apostrophe will go where the missing words should be if the words were separate. Now I'll show you an example of how this works. So here we've got the two words can not. Now if you want to join them together, you will drop the N and you will put in the apostrophe. So it will become one word. So you're putting together two words and you're using the apostrophe to make one word, and then you've got can't. Now this is formal language, this is informal language. So if you were writing a job application or a CV, you would write the whole cannot out. But if you were maybe talking informally to someone, you would say, oh, I can't do that. You would say can't. The apostrophe shows that we've took a letter out and we put two words together. Likewise, if you wanted to add them back together, you would take out this apostrophe, you would put in the N, and you would have two words again, cannot. The same works with don't. So we've got don't, we've got this apostrophe to show that it was once two words, it was do not. You would drop this O and you'd put in the apostrophe and you get don't. So from do not, you get don't. From don't, you get do not. Okay, so you just see how these quickly work together. Here's a few other common examples. So I'm going to try and write this out. Hopefully it goes okay. We've got your. So your would become you and are. Okay, so you see how you are has become your. And then didn't would become did not. So you see we've got the separate words. We've got did and not from didn't. From its, we've got it is. So we've got it is. So we've got two words. And then from could have, we've got could. We've got could have. So sorry, that's not very clear, but you've got could have, which has been the could, and have. And so we take the apostrophe out, we separate the words, and we've got could and have, we put the H and the A in. Okay, so you can just see how you can swap by using the apostrophes. You can contract and make two separate words or make one word. These are really common. Okay, so we've nearly finished now. So we'll just do a quick lesson review. So we've looked at what pronouns are. So remember, a pronoun is, we jump back to the start, a pronoun tells us when something belongs to someone. So we have she and her, his and his, him and I and me for singular. And we've got plural pronouns talking about a group. We've got we, us, they, them, you, theirs. So those are the pronouns. Our possessive pronouns are his and her and its, which show that something belongs to someone. And then we've looked at how to use apostrophes to show when something belongs to someone. So remember, we've got, there we go, we've got Jane's CV. So we know that Jane has a CV and that this CV belongs to Jane because of the apostrophe and the S. The apostrophe and the S, the company's vacancies. So we know how to use possessive apostrophes to show when something belongs to someone. And then finally, we've looked at how to contract words with apostrophes. So remember how we've put in the apostrophes and we've taken out letters or put letters in to make the separate words. So you had didn't and did not. Okay. So thanks for joining us today. I hope you found this helpful. Like I said, the video will be up later this week on the YouTube channel and I'll send links out. We've only got 2 sessions of ESOL left, next Tuesday and next Thursday, and then we will have finished this 6-week course. But like I say, the YouTube videos will be up if you want to go back and watch them after the course is finished. So next Tuesday at 11, we're going to be looking at prefixes and suffixes. And so do join us for that at 11 a.m. And then we will be having a revision quiz and going over everything on the Thursday at 11 a.m. So in the meantime, you can tick off pronouns on your checklist. Next week, we'll be looking at prefixes, suffixes, and doing a revision quiz. And for those of you that have attended a lot of these ESOL sessions, we will send out certificates to you to show that you've been attending. You can do these pronoun worksheets from home. They've been sent in the email to you, but if you've also on Accelerate and have the ESOL booklet, you will have the worksheets to go through by yourself. We've not got much time now, so I think I'm going to finish. If you've got any questions, do email me or phone us and get in touch with us as normal. But I'll see you all next week on Tuesday at 11. So I'm going to end the session now. So thank you for attending, everyone, and I will see you next week.